Episode 107, Abigail Linhardt. Greetings and welcome to the Realm. I'm J.V. Hilliard. It is my distinct pleasure to have as my guest today Abigail Linhardt. I got to know Abigail just a bit when we were on a show like this together. We were both Dungeons and Dragons enthusiasts, obviously fans of fantasy and sci-fi. She's a prolific writer, a professor, and if you like dark fantasy and sword and sorcery, I think you'll like her and her works. Welcome. Thank you very much, Abigail, for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
So I'm happy to have you here. I want you to tell everybody a little bit about yourself. So you mind giving you 30 seconds on who you are and what you're doing?
So I am a lifelong professional academic, unfortunately, looking to change that up. I have been a professor of English for 5 years. I've been an editor. I've worked on local literary magazines, a couple other small presses. I am currently working on a dark fantasy series that I'm really into and that I personally think is pretty fantastic. But, you know, we all love our children, hopefully. Right now I'm living in Kansas with my ferrets and working in academia, but trying to get out.
All right. So I have two starting questions for you. The first is, if you're hinting at your Runer series, I've been a big fan. I read the first one. I'm halfway through the second one, and I think you've got a third one coming out too. Tell us a little bit about it, and then I'll have a couple of questions for that before we go into the next piece.
So it's a dark fantasy series. It's called Season of the Runer, and they're back here hanging out with me. It's got monsters, necromancers, zombies, kind of, dragons. There's some magic. So it's very, very primal is how I would call it. You know, there's lots of hunting, lots of slaying. It's been described as very emotionally driven, which I also count as primal. A lot of the civilizations in it are not very well developed. So it's not exactly medieval times. It's kind of like 1100s, maybe 1100s us. And I'm really enjoying it. I have some unconventional main characters. They're dealing with things like depression and, thoughts of suicide and stuff like that you don't see often in fantasy. And I've received some criticism for it, but it's really helped me work through things in my life as writers do.
Well, can I interrupt you for a second? First of all, I think that the mental health issues really round out the characters, right? It actually makes the character better, because I think if you juxtapose yourself into that role, those thoughts would be natural, right? Wouldn't you think?
I mean, I personally think so. But a lot of what Sarek, my main character, is going through and those thoughts he's had, you know, are thoughts that I've dealt with. I'm in a better place now. I'm fine. I'm medicated. I have a therapist. But, you know, those were very real to me. And so when I got the feedback that, oh my gosh, I hate him. If he wants to die, would he just kill himself? Which is a quote that I got from someone. It was, you know, it hit really hard.
First of all, I mean, you can't listen to the critics, right? I mean, literally, the critics wake up in the morning and are mad at themselves, right? But ultimately, I think it really rounds out the character. And I think that makes the character very real in a fantasy world, which is rare.
Thank you.
I think that you handled that very well. I have to ask you this, and I was going to save this for later, but since we're already down this path, Woontang. Did you really use Woontang? Like, how many times have you heard that? Did your development editor not catch it? I love it, though. Every time I hear it, I'm right back into it. I think it's fantastic.
So my number one rule for naming anything, anyone, is Google it before you. And I didn't. I wrote that book for 8 months, and not once did I Google.
It is great, though. I mean, so Abigail, another question for you. I understand that you do things outside of the Runer series, and I think you've got a book that's coming out that might be YA focused or young adult focused for those listeners that may not be, familiar with what YA means. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so it's this one over here. It's got a red, white, and blue and gold cover. The Prince of Midwest is what it's called. It's a standalone, so it's not in a series. It is an alternate history, steampunk, Weird West kind of thing. It's a revenge story, very much inspired by The Count of Monte Cristo, which is one of my favorite books. The story follows a vampire who is trying to redeem his soul, and there's airships and pirates and revenge and like betrayal and just so much stuff going on in there that I love. But it's an adventure novel. There's so much going on.
Well, first of all, you picked the right guide for it. If you had a North Star for that kind of stuff, Count of Monte Cristo is one of the best classics. I think that that's really cool. And I like the alternative history kind of stuff. I think that's really popular right now. I think there's something that's, I think from a marketing perspective, really kind of sexy, and I think that, seriously, I think you've just hit on something there that will make sense for that demographic that you're targeting.
Oh, good.
Right? Yeah. Congratulations on it. I can't wait to read that. When does that come out?
That will actually be out July 15th, and I'm really excited for people to read it.
So I've got something that I'm going to try for the first time today. It's a speed round. These are 1, maybe 2-word answers, and to see where this goes. So tell me when you're ready. I've got 4 or 5 of these I'm going to throw at you, and you tell me the answers to my questions. Okay.
Okay, I'll do my best.
All right. Marvel or DC?
Marvel.
All right. Okay. Boba Fett or Han Solo?
Boba Fett.
Oh, okay. Well, I can see that with your Runer series. I can definitely see that too. So, Wheel of Time or Witcher? Witcher. Yeah. Oh, wait. Witcher because it's a hot guy, or Witcher because
because I cannot stand Robert Jordan or Wheel of Time. I don't know.
Okay. This weekend, Stranger Things came out and Obi-Wan came out. Which one did you watch first?
Stranger Things, and I'm not done yet, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no spoiler alerts here. Last question, and this is just, think the first thing that pops out of your head. Favorite villain?
Darth Maul.
Darth Maul. That's a nice little swinging pick. I did not expect that.
I think because we were coming off of Star Wars, I probably have another favorite villain, but Darth Maul.
Well, anyway, before we let you go, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you? I know you're available on a lot of social media channels, as well as where they can find your books.
So the main place would be my website. I'm also on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok as of recently. You can find me at www.abigaillinhardt.com. That's ABIGAILLINHARDT.com.
Well, thank you very much for coming on The Realm. I'm glad to have you back when your books come out in July or November. And good luck on the dual launch you've got coming up here this summer and the fall.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me and taking the time to meet with me.
My pleasure. And that's one of the reasons I have her on this show. She's great, and I would encourage you to go out and buy her novels. And speaking of novels, my second novel, Vorden's Lair, will be available to the public in August of 2022, and book 3 in the Warminster series, known as The Trillius Gambit, will come out in December, right around the holidays of 2022. With that, I want to thank everybody for coming. I'm J.V. Hilliard, and may your gods go with you.